Welcome, everybody. This is D. Durrell with D. Durrell Life Solutions. I am happy to be here once again to engage in intellectual conversation with each and every one of you. This is D. Durrell Life Solutions. I also broadcast from Sectors TV, D. Durrell The Rebirth, and I also have a Pan-African channel, Burkina Faso Cassine TV, in which I randomly drop videos here or there. Looking to do more on that channel also. Today, we're going to talk about, again, in our 6-part series, we're talking about mutual respect, and we're focusing on the dynamics between Black mothers and Black sons. Again, as I talked about in previous videos, I noticed that a lot of my comments that I receive on replays is related to things that I talk about with Black mothers and Black sons, for the most part. That's like what's talked about so often, many times. It's either Black sons and Black mothers or some type of mental health disorder such as narcissism or narcissistic personality disorder and other things. But I notice there's random men that come about and they run across this video and they make a comment. Hey, I saw your video for the first time. Wow, I can relate to this. So I'm going to go in on this again from my perspective. Again, I'm using personal experience. I'm using my family experience, anecdotal experience, and it's also going to be coupled with my clinical experience. So you're getting a little bit of both sides from me. I don't want to be too clinical. I want it to also be relatable. I'm not trying to just go all in on the therapeutic aspects, although when needed, I will discuss those things at the appropriate times that's needed, but not all the time. But what I'm going to say is this. It's a definite situation that needs to be addressed. And so for this one, I'm going to go back. I'm sorry. We talked about defining roles. We talked about what are sons being taught by their mother. And then we're going to look at mutual respect. See, we have to talk about mutual respect because in many situations in the videos that I created, the men complained of a lack of respect. They complain about respect. They complained about respect. They complained that they were not receiving the respect that they were supposed to receive as a man, in which their mother didn't see them as a man. She saw these grown men as children. She saw this grown man as her son forever, which he is. But he's still a grown man. He's no longer a child. And it gets into the way of how this Black man treats his wife, his girlfriend, significant other. Because in many instances, this Black mother wants to be the object of attention. See, there are Black mothers who think their sons should spoil them because they never received that type of behavior or privilege from a man that they were dating. Many Black women think as mothers that their sons are a tool to get them what they need and deserve. And that's not what the relationship between a mother and son should be like. Because what I've seen as the constant is that I don't hear black females complaining about putting their mother first over their man. You hear men complaining to this. I don't hear black women complaining. I'm sorry. Yes, I don't hear black men complaining like black men as children about their mother. Now, I can do a whole series on black women, the toxic relationship between black women and their daughters. That's a whole nother situation, because one thing that's the most constant in that, and I don't want to go off topic, is that in many situations, black women teach their sons to be everything that they want, and they teach their kids, they teach their daughters to don't do any of the negative things that I have done. That's a difference. They're teaching their sons to be everything that they wanted out of a man. And then they teach their daughters not to do any of the trifling things that they did as a woman. There's a difference in that. So we're talking about mutual respect. The previous video I spoke on how as a child you are raised and grown from a feminine perspective, because she's a woman. That's natural. In that the focus is a lot on, your grooming, your etiquette, your communication, respecting women, which you should. A lot of dealing with communication, respect, how you carry yourselves, a lack of physicality, a lack of aggressiveness or competitiveness, because we tend not to, as men or in families headed by men, we teach our boys to be more competitive. Boys are naturally active, more competitive. They want more movement, and they want more intense play. We don't reinforce that with girls. And black women do not reinforce that with their boys. I would say that the majority of most women have no interest in the physical things that black boys like to do, such as sports and heavy competitive play. I know for a fact for myself, I was discouraged as a kid to play outside at times. I was discouraged at some point of playing sports as a teenager, because that's not the nature of women. But we're talking about the mutual respect, as I highlighted in the previous two videos, defining roles and what our sons being taught, that mutual respect should be heavily weighted on the dynamic of mother to son. It should not be replicative. It should not be replicated in a manner to look like a man and woman dating or in a relationship. And then many times there's a gray area that's produced, because many of these women don't have the men that they want. They're not married. Most of them are single. And they're living vicariously through their son to somewhat overcompensate for what they never received from a guy that they wanted in their life. And that is not the role of your son. Your son is not used as a guinea pig to provide some level of relief for you, an emotional reward that you were unable to get in your own personal life. That's not his role. And it's not your role to dictate that and to enmesh that into his life, confusing him on how he is supposed to treat women. Mutual respect, for example, is characterized the fact that both parties, regardless of their role in that relationship, understand boundaries and the value of the other person, and you choose not to overstep your boundaries to disrupt the other person's life, the ability to function, the ability to be comfortable in the relationship they are in with you. I have mutual respect for a lot of people because I see them as valuable. They see me as valuable. There's a high level of reciprocity. Our mothers, black mothers, should be having the mutual respect for their sons to understand that they're no longer children. Have mutual respect to understand that he can no longer I trained him to put another woman first in his life, not to continually keep me as number one in his life. The mutual respect of, I'm not going to take over your household when I come home. I'm not going to tell your wife what to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to use my relationship as a mother to manipulate you financially. I'm not going to choose for you who you're supposed to be dating. I can only guide. But it's up to you to choose. Nor should I be criticizing who you choose, unless situations warrant me based on you assertively asking me, not necessarily I'm putting my opinion, an unsolicited opinion, into the situation. The mutual respect of understanding that you raised a man who has to do manly things. Your mutual respect of understanding that love your son as your son and nothing more or less. The mutual respect of understanding that your son will make decisions that you don't agree with. And that's okay. That is okay. I accept that my son is being a man. Men make mistakes. Men make their own decisions. That decisiveness is part of manhood. I have to let him be a man. I can't be there attempting to institute a position in which I'm the gatekeeper to your life forever. Mutual respect. And it goes both ways. Your son should be showing you respect. He should not be living with you till he's damn near 35, 40 years old. You should not be cooking, cleaning, doing everything that another woman should be doing for him based on that relationship, the context of that relationship. You should not be taking care of him and enabling him, softening him, cuddling him. It's mutual. And you should correct him when he wants you to do those things. You should not, if he's running to you all the time because he's unable to do things for himself, you're doing him a disservice by correcting his mistakes. He will never learn if he knows you are going to always be there to correct. That many times, figure it out yourself. You're a man, figure it out. Now, I would say this, and this is something that resonates with me. My mom always told us, look, I raised y'all to have a mind of your own, to think independently. And to me, that was one of the most important things she ever taught me. That resonated, because that mindset naturally took negative people out of my life, it made me not attracted to toxic people that wanted me to do things that they wanted to do, not what I wanted to do, or people that want to think for you and use you. I don't care, and I don't care what other people think of me. And if I think something and you don't, that's fine. We don't need to agree. I think for myself, you either agree to disagree, we move on. My dad taught me hard work, consistency, discipline, the physical shit. A lot of hard work, a lot of things as far as being consistent. He made sure, number one, I knew how to work. No matter what level of education I was going to seek, you are going to understand what work is and that it's hard and that you have to do it as a man. Fundamental. He taught me the fundamentals. But mutual respect goes both ways, because that man or your young son should show you that respect. And usually when kids, again, around that 11, 12, 13 years of age, they start growing and becoming older, start, puberty stages, little hair start coming here and there, voice getting ready to deepen. They're over 5 feet. They're starting to grow over between 5'3", 5'4", and your mom is like 5'2", 5'3", and you're the same height as them, or you're taller. Okay. And some kids take that enhanced physicality as if now you can't tell me what to do, or I can challenge you, because young boys are more apt to challenge their parents, their mothers, than they are a good father. They're not. Most sons with good sense, they know better not to challenge their dad, but they'll try to challenge their mother. So the mutual respect goes both ways, in which both parties are there to benefit each other, but not in a manner in which you're trying to manipulate, monopolize the resources that the other person gives you, emotionally, financially, socially, within that relationship. You're there to meet the needs of each other simultaneously because you're family. You have a history. So mutual respect goes both ways. If your mom dates a man, you should show respect to her and not try to act like you're the only man in her life, because there are black men who think that way, who don't like their mothers dating other men and don't like the fact that their mother has another man and they may put them second. There are a lot of mama's boys, particularly if it's the oldest son, or the first child she had was a son, particularly those. Or if you're the only one, you're the only son that she has. Those bonds can be highly strong and toxic at the same time. You have to show her respect, just like she shows you respect. You should demand it from each other. Not allow others to interact with what you have going on. So, appreciate you for being here today. This is D. Durrell Life Solutions. And this is, again, the third part of my Black Mothers and Sons series.